Hey, welcome back. I'm Alaina. By the end of this video, I'll show you how to set healthy boundaries at work to avoid burnout and restore your energy so you can bring your A game to your business. So stay tuned. First, I'm going to reveal the symptoms and the real reason why you're burned out. Next, I'm going to show you how to unlock your zone of genius by creating healthy boundaries. Then I'm going to uncover this one word and how it will massively change your business and the outcomes that you get. And then I'm going to teach you this one thing that will stop you from becoming a doormat. By the end of this video, you'll be able to reclaim your power and take your business to the next level. So let's dive right in. Okay, so does this sound familiar? You're a smart high achiever. From the outside, it looks like you have it all together. Inside, you're exhausted and overwhelmed. Your life has been taken over by your business. I see this with so many of my clients. They basically don't have a life, they have a business. You're no longer present for your loved ones. You may even be missing milestones for your friends and family. You feel like life is passing you by, and you may even be on the verge of a breaking point. Now, if any of those really resonated with you, then what I'm going to suggest is you get to the root. This is what I help my clients do, is understand what is going on here that I'm feeling this burnout. There's something deeper that is causing you to do what you're doing in your business that's creating the burnout, that's causing you to overwork, that's causing the overwhelm, that's causing the exhaustion. And so it's key to get to the root, the limiting beliefs that are going on in your subconscious mind that are creating this pattern in the first place. And once you can get to the root and then actually clear it, and I like to clear it at a DNA level, so it's literally not in you anymore, right? It's not intergenerationally passed down to you. There are so many beliefs that are intergenerationally passed down to us from our ancestors, typically beliefs around hard work and around money and our own worthiness. And when we can clear that at an intergenerational level, we get to not only send the past back to the past, but we can get to claim a new present and future for ourselves as well. Now, burnout affects every area of your life. It affects your health, your relationships, your business, your profitability especially. It is not possible, I love to talk about this a lot, if you are in your sympathetic nervous system, which burnout is, right? Burnout is some form of fight, flight, or freeze. And if you're in some form of fight, flight, or freeze, then you cannot be taking intelligent and inspired action, which means all the action you're taking is like for naught, right? It's like you're taking all of this action and you're not getting results. So you take more action and you're still not getting results. And then you take even more action and then you're still not getting results. And it's exhausting. It's just freaking exhausting. And you're still not getting the results you want. Now, particularly when people work from home, which a lot of my clients do, although they do have offices as well. But if you work from home, it can particularly blur the lines between life and work. And so when those lines get blurred, like I like to live an integrated life, but integrative life to me doesn't mean I don't have boundaries. Integrative life for me means I have very clear boundaries from the two, but they move back and forth effortlessly and fluidly rather than I'm pretty much in my business and my business has taken over my life. And I have to say, I have lived like that before, and it is no fun. What helped me become a time master and set really clear boundaries in my business and avoid the burnout I was experiencing was a period in my business when my income had radically decreased and I was working 12, 16-hour days. And I was literally sitting on my couch one night with my then 9-year-old son, he's 15 now, with my then 9-year-old son in his favorite camo pants with his huge blue eyes. And there I am at my laptop working, his head is on my shoulder, and he says to me, "Mom, you're working all the time." And I was like, oh, pain. That was so painful for me because my 9-year-old doesn't really filter a lot of his feelings about things. And so the fact that he could tell me that and tell me how it made him feel. I have had clients who say, well, I think I'm teaching my son or daughter or my kids a good work ethic by what I'm doing. And I was like, no, you're actually teaching them how they have to work hard to survive and thrive. And you're also teaching them that work is more important to them. And I'm really sorry that sounds like harsh, but it's really true. And so getting a handle on this for good and setting really healthy boundaries will allow you to change this for good. Now, one of the ways you set healthy boundaries is by working only in your zone of genius and then delegating everything else. And I have some really fantastic videos on how to delegate very effectively, but working in your zone of genius. So what that looks like for me when I tell my clients is literally pick your top things that you're not only super good at that are in your zone of genius. There's a zone of incompetence, there's a zone of competence, there's a zone of excellence, and then there's your zone of genius, right? And most people are not working in their zone of genius. They may be working in their zone of excellence, but they're not working in their zone of genius because they're trying to do too much. So when you stick with the top 5 things that are not only you love to do, because if you're a genius at them but you don't love to do them, that's not going to help you get out of burnout. So the key is really to love what you do. Those 5 things, love what you do, and be in your zone of genius with those 5 things. You do them better than you think anyone else will do them, and delegate everything else. And it will really shift your experience in your business and allow you to get out of that burnout. Now, here's that one word that I was talking to you about, that when you learn to master this word, it will radically shift your life. You ready? That word is no. Right? So many people say yes to so many things, and they take on more and more things. They can't even get done what they're doing, but they say yes. Part of it is the desire to, most of my clients, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're out there to serve people. And so you think that your job is to continue to serve people, but you're not serving yourself in the process. You have to take care of yourself first. You have to put on your own oxygen mask before putting on anyone else's, or you run out of air and you die. And that's what burnout is leading to, right? So the key is to learn how to say no. Now, I'm not going to go in this video and teach you all the ways to be able to say no without feeling guilty, but I have this fantastic video on how to learn how to say no without feeling guilty. So make sure you watch that after this video, because it will really help you be able to master the word no. And I can tell you, even as a quick hint, if you look around how many times people say no, people can hear no. You just need to stand in the power of your no. Now, I love to offer valuable content on how to work less and make more, how to get into flow, how to move out of burnout. So make sure you like and subscribe to make sure you stay up to date on all of my latest content. One of the other things that really causes burnout is people pleasing. And this leads to not being able to say no, but the feeling of like, your worth is dependent on the validation that you receive from other people, knowing that you're a good person, for example. And again, I'm not going to go into super detail about this now, but I have another fantastic video on people pleasing. How do I stop being a people pleaser? And I suggest after you watch that one, and after you watch the one on how to say no, that you watch how to stop being a people pleaser, because these 2 things, being able to say no and stop being a people pleaser, will allow you to take so much power back into your life and your business. The next thing to set really healthy boundaries is to learn how to communicate clearly. The clearer your communication and the more effective it is, and this was a game changer for me to learn that effective communication is only effective if it lands for the recipient. So if you're speaking, but it's not landing for the person that you're talking to, it isn't effective, and that isn't a way to create healthy boundaries. So learning how to speak clearly, learning how to communicate without, when you start learning how to clear your limiting beliefs, you start to learn how to communicate without being triggered. And when you learn how to communicate without being triggered, without there being a lot of emotional charge at the time, then you can take your communication skills to the next level and even learn how to communicate no so much easier. But it allows you to set really healthy boundaries in a way that people can receive them and honor them, as opposed to being a doormat and having them ridden over all the time, because that doesn't feel good. And then all it does is build up resentment as a result, which then makes the communication so much harder, because now there's more emotional charge, because there's even more resentment. And this just stacks on top of each other until it's over your head. So bring it down by learning how to communicate clearly and effectively. And a lot of that is by clearing the beliefs you have, the meanings that you're making out of these things in the first place. One of the ways to set healthy boundaries is by, again, communicating clearly those boundaries with your team and creating agreements on it. I take CEO time in the morning, so I rarely work until 11 a.m. And that time for me is so essential for me to stay in flow. It allows me to do my breath work, my mindset practices, my movement practices, and it allows me to step into a higher level of leadership in my business. So my team knows, don't bother me unless it's an emergency, right? I've clearly communicated that agreement to them that this is my sacred time and I honor this time. I honor your time, you honor my time. So we have these agreements where we've created effective boundaries around time, around how things get done, around how we communicate with each other, and various things like that. Those boundaries have freed me up so much in my business and ensured that I don't go into burnout because I'm not working at times that aren't actually in my highest good to work. And this is what I teach my clients to do, is working with their rhythms, working with their energies, and then communicating those things clearly and creating agreements around them so that everyone on your team is honoring those agreements. And it's a two-way street. It's not just you, it's also for your team as well. Now, here's a key that's so simple but yet really important, which is to really take breaks during the day. So many people think that they're working straight through, but I can tell you that first of all, studies have shown that the average person who works 8 hours a day is only productive 3.5 to 4 of those hours. So there's a lot of distraction, there's a lot of procrastination, there's a lot of focus on things that aren't moving the needle forward. And the key really is to take breaks during the day so that you can clear your mind, focus on things that refuel yourself, get out in nature, don't check your phone or your emails during those breaks. Take breaks and give your brain a reboot so that when you sit back down, now you have a different level of clarity and can be much more effective and productive. One of the ways that you set really clear boundaries and avoid burnout is by shaving 20 to 30 hours off of your work week. And so I have this fantastic free mini course in which I condense the exact strategies I use with my highest paying net worth clients that allows you to collapse time. It's called 5 Ways to Shave 20 to 30 Hours Off Your Work Week While Working Less. So make sure you go to the link below and register. Thanks, I'm Alaina Schwartz, and I'll see you in the next video.